talk a little bit about the Detroit Lions 53-man roster. What's good, what's bad, what's ugly. I know I made a video on my personal channel, but we're going to take a approach here on Lions Nation Unite. Trying to get to 8,000 subscribers, so subscribe to the channel. We're getting close, and it would be a nice step for Lions Nation Unite to continue to grow. And again, next week, Thursday, we're going to be live at Soaring Eagle Casino. Herm and I doing play-by-play commentary for the Detroit Lions and Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be epic. Cannot wait. It will be on Lions Nation Unite and my personal channel at the same time. So either way, you're going to get it, and it's going to be really, really cool. And I can't wait to see his perspective of what's taking place for this game. 53-man roster took place yesterday, and of course it's not, it's not exact. There's going to be some couple moves that happen, and it's going to happen in the next couple days and probably throughout the NFL season. We already know this, so it's not the complete 53 because it's never really complete. A roster is always going to get turned. And by the way, Sterling Thomas was picked up by the Arizona Cardinals. I know a lot of people wanted him to be part of the Detroit Lions. Guess what? They put a waiver claim and got him. And I think a lot of us thought he would get claimed, and he was. And so if you're looking to get him, guess what? Ain't happening. He's an Arizona Cardinal. The Detroit Lions decided to go ahead and, waive him and other players too, like Dylan Drummond, who is young and promising, did not get picked up, so he'll probably go ahead and be on the practice squad. And maybe by the time you're watching this, he's already there. That's very possible, so just keep an FYI while I'm making this video. So the Lions, look, we got two quarterbacks, Teddy Bridgewater, Jared Goff, and then you got Hendon Hooker on the NFI list. No problems right there at all. That's exactly what we thought. The wide receiver is a little bit interesting move, considering that Chase Lucas didn't make the team due to injury. He got waived due to that, so I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's not too serious, and he can come back eventually to the practice squad. But Antoine Green makes it. I love Antoine Green. I love what I saw from him in the third preseason game. You really could see breakaway speed and a different dimension. Look, Chase Cota is great, but I think Antoine Green just had a bigger upside, and you've seen it, right, with that 70-yard touchdown. So I'm happy that he made the football team, draft pick there, and something that we could use. And the Lions could most definitely pick up another wide receiver at some point. Having 5 seems a little bit, kind of short, if you ask me. Maybe they'll pick up a couple more, but you'll have some individuals on the practice squad that can come in and help out as well. The practice squad now is kind of like an extension of the real roster with the new rules. So I know it's 53, but you go ahead and add 16 more to them, and it's just unfortunate for players. They don't get paid as much, but it is a real extension, and obviously teams can pick up players if they want to from your practice squad or you sign them. But so that's what we got there. The Craig Reynolds thing is interesting to me, but if you hear from the beat writers, they could just re-sign him again. They wanted to just kind of mess with how they do the roster, so it's possible he gets signed again. Or they can pick up another running back, because having 2 running backs is not going to happen, right? Like, you're going to have more than 2 running backs on a roster. Craig Reynolds could come back, or they could look at some other individuals out there who they could pick up, whether it be waiver wire or a back-end trade. I mean, we heard a couple days ago, 3-4 days ago, that they could have been looking for a backup running back somewhere in the trade market. But it's probably more than likely a waiver wire or just Craig Reynolds. So, look, it was a shock to me that Craig Reynolds got cut. With that said, if they're just trying to mess with the roster to get the right players in due to the IR and all those type of rules kind of finagle, I get it, and it makes sense. Like, hey, Craig, we're going to cut you. You're going to come back tomorrow. One of those things, because we've seen that already happen with Bailey Zappi. He was cut by the Patriots, and it came out today that they want to bring him back to their roster. So that's one of those issues that teams do to finagle. Tight ends, there's not a single surprise there. There's really no legit reason to get into it. It was the 3 that everybody thought, and it was the 3 that they got. Go to the defensive interior. I love that Levi made the team. So happy for him. So proud of him. This guy had every opportunity to not make the team, to kind of give up on his career due to the fusion, and he works his tail off, and he's on the team. And I guarantee you he's going through some pain, folks, because, fusion's no joke. You do get pains from it, so shout out to him. Levi Onwuzurike is battling through injury, battling through pain, battling from recovery of surgery, all odds against him, and he makes an impact in preseason. He plays throughout the whole training camp, and he makes the team. That is awesome. That is what I love to see. That's grit. That's a Dan Campbell type of player. I don't know how effective he'll be, throughout the NFL season, but you gotta love his motivation right there. And so I'm extremely proud of the young man. So awesome. I'm so happy for him. And, with that mentality, sky's the limit. It is really the limit. No shocker on the interior. I think we all expected Levi, to make the team after he continues to get better, and he did. Edge rushers, Julian and Romeo make the team. Not surprised with Romeo and Julian. I know Julian was potentially could have been traded, and maybe they feel they could still trade him, and that's why they kept him on the 53, and they didn't want to let him go, or it has something to do with the injury or anything like that. But it's not a shocker. I mean, the Lions got good at edge. They're a good team. I mean, he showed some promise with the 3 sacks versus the Giants. Is he great against the run? No, but guess what? Not everybody is great at everything. So, they got a really good defensive line. I feel like the depth's pretty good now. I really do. I'm really happy with the defensive line, interior, and edge depth. With the Lions, again, they could move Julian, but still depth would be great. I know there's rumors they could get rid of Houston. I thought that was foolhardy. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was illegitimate, and it absolutely was. So huge shout out to them. Linebackers, not a single problem there. Anthony Pittman and Jalen Reeves-Maybin did make the football team as expected. Jalen Reeves-Maybin is a special teamer, but he showed that he can play defense too as a backup linebacker. Same with Anthony Pittman. He's shown some flash. And when you can do that, you make the football team. You look at the depth at linebacker, it's really good. Really, really good. I mean, you have Alex Anzalone, you have Jack Campbell, Derrick Barnes showing out, Malcolm Rodriguez, and then those two, really good depth at linebacker. Defense just looks better overall. Depth-wise and starters, this defense looks much, much improved. Then, of course, you get to the DBs, and then that's what we're going to do. Or we could say cornerback or safety, but there's so many players that can play multiple roles, you might as well just go DB here. We knew it was going to be Cam Sutton. We knew that it was going to be Emmanuel Moseley. He was off the PUP list. That's great. He may not play week 1, but it's great news for his injury. You got Jerry Jacobs, obviously, and you got Will Harris, who's the universal guy in there. But then you got who I love who made this team, and that's Stephon Gilmore. Really showed in preseason. This guy has talent, and I'm really excited for his future. If he continues to grow like he did literally in every single preseason game, he got better. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. The guy can cover. He's got great eyes, vision. He can move on the ball. He's got good instinct. He's very confident. You can tell how confident he is. Just stays with his receiver, gets the interceptions. Love it. There would have been no way. If they would have released Stephon Gilmore, he would have been picked up by another team. He absolutely would have. And because he's got talent, and he's a young DB with talent. Happy that he's made the team. And you look at the safeties. We all figured all the safeties would make the team there. Brian Branch, as well as CJ, as well as Tracy. Malafonu made the team, but there's an injury thing, so that could be a roster maneuver that happens. Just keeping an FYI in there. So, Kirby Joseph, obviously, not a lot of situations there. Now, for the kicking situation, Riley Patterson is the kicker. That could change because we had rumors that the Lions may trade for a kicker. So maybe another one gets released. I don't know, but those are some of the players that you can look at and say, okay, they may not fully be here. That could be Julian. That could be Riley. Patterson, maybe a Matt Nelson, some of those players. But in all honesty, I don't think there's too much shockers there except for the Craig Reynolds one for the Detroit Lions. I think it's a good roster. I really do. Would I have preferred somebody else, maybe instead of Will Harris? Yeah, absolutely. Would I maybe Germain Ifedi over Matt Nelson? Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, guess what? They're dealing with these players 24/7, so I'll take their word for it. I think it's a good roster overall. And we're talking about backups, right? We're not talking about the starters. We're just talking about backups. So it's a really good roster. Really excited to see them play versus Kansas City Chiefs and get this season going. Yeah, I think this roster's an A. I'm going to give it an A grade. What is your thoughts? What grade do you give the Detroit Lions roster? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, I want to know what you guys think of this. Again, we're going to be live for the game a week from tomorrow at Soaring Eagle Casino. Myself, Herman Moore, maybe Everything King will be there. We'll see. And we're going to be breaking down this game. It's going to be legitimate awesome. So with that said, folks, adios.